Good morning. There were one or two people who were struggling with the concept of iteration last time round, so I'm going to look at two of the key questions here from the Maths Genie worksheet. The idea is what we've got is a function machine. If I look at question 3, where we do 3 plus 9 over x squared, or xn squared. Now all this x0, x1, x2, x3 means is, if I put something in, I start off with x0, the number that they give me. It goes through the function machine, and whatever answer I get becomes x1. So if I've got x1, I now put that number into the function machine, and it spits out another number. And I keep on going, normally for 3 or 4, or however many times they've asked me to do it, or I end up getting the same answer. It gets closer and closer and closer, and the answer gets more and more accurate. So if you look here, they said start off with 3. I put 3 in. I get 3 plus 9 over 3 squared, which gives me 4. I take 4. I put 4 in. 3 plus 9 over 4 squared. I get 3.5625. So I've gone from 3 to 4 to 3.5625. I take that answer and I put it in. I've not written it down here, I've just written ANS, so whatever that value was there. And if I square it, which I should have done, I get 3.70914274. Now if I kept on going and going and going and going and going, the answer will get closer to the ideal answer. But the idea is they've just said, if I do this 3 times, what will I end up with? There are a second kind of questions, which is question 8. Question 8 starts with show 2x cubed minus x minus 3 equals 0. Well, if this was an equation, i.e. y equals 2x cubed minus x minus 3, if I substitute the number 1 in, I get the answer minus 2. If I substitute x equals 2 in, I get the answer plus 9. So if I've got the coordinates 1 along and minus 2, 2 along and plus 9, then that means that this curve must cross the x-axis, because it goes from a negative y value to a positive y value. And that's all you've got to do. You can't just leave the numbers. You see, if one's negative and one's positive, it must cut the line there. Therefore, the root must be in between 1 and 2. Second part of the equation says, can I rearrange it to look like that? Right. Okay, that's a little bit harder, because which x do I try and get on its own on the left hand side? Well, the clue is the fact that this has got a square root sign in it, means if I can get x squared here, well, I've got an x squared but an x cubed, so if I factorize the first 2 terms, I take the x squared out, so I get x squared times 2x minus 1 minus 3 equals 0, and then I've done 2 steps in one. If I add 3 to both sides, 3 moves over here, divide by 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1 moves down there, and if I take the square root of both sides, yes, I get plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2x minus 1. If you can't do this part, that does not mean you can't do part C. You can do part C. All you've got to do is, it said show it's got roots between 1 and 2, so if I put in 1 as a value into this iterative formula, it gives me a value of root 3, and if I put root 3 back in, I get the answer of 1.103395. So if I can't solve the rearranging part, I can still do the second part. Difficult question though this may be. Hopefully that helps.